Aloha and welcome to Dr. Donna Fisher's Focus on Learning Student Self-Regulating Behavior System. I created my FOL Focus on Learning system after an intense week of You Can Do It professional development for new teachers, classroom management. My system was a succinct way to incorporate all of the good ideas. Therefore, I created my FOL system, and over the past 2 decades, I have refined it into what it is today. Here's another link to the FOL system slips. You can laminate them as I have done here, or put them on cardstock. Here are some resources that you can use for your own FOL plan and modify them for your use. My Focus on Learning plan. Dr. Fisher's Focus on Learning plan is for off-task or inappropriate behavior. The plan is a positive approach for self-reflection and self-correction. Instead of correcting student behavior, teachers or teacher assistants will respectfully set a Focus on Learning slip on a student's desk. This is done through cardstock or laminated slips. The plan is designed to put the student in charge of their behavior through reflection. Students who are impeding their own or others' learning will not be told what they are doing wrong. They will simply get a slip that allows them to reflect on their current actions and behaviors and make the necessary adjustments to focus on learning. Focus on Learning Slip 0. For recognition that behavior was adjusted, this slip can be used. This was not in the original design, and the students asked for this additional slip. Sometimes they want one during the day to acknowledge their efforts, even though they've never gotten a slip number 1. They just want it so that they know that I've noticed how well they are behaving. For inappropriate or off-task behavior, set the slip on the student's desk politely and discreetly. I tell the students that they cannot ask me why. That is their responsibility to figure it out, and it is not up for discussion. Just fix it and get focused. So the first reminder reads, "Warning, I need to use my strategies and choose to focus on learning with Mariota to motivate them." Note, how long does the Focus on Learning slip last? Unless you have the same teacher for 2 periods in a row, each class period students begin fresh with 0 Focus on Learning slips. They're not cumulative. Focus on Learning slip number 2. Again, for the same or a different inappropriate or off-task behavior, set the slip on the student's desk politely and discreetly. This second slip reads, "Last warning, I need to stop and make better choices or I will lose recess time." This is the last warning and the student has had no negative consequences thus far. At this point, most students adjust their behavior. Focus slip number 3. Again, for the same or a different inappropriate or off-task behavior, you set the slip on the student's desk politely and discreetly. This third reminder reads, "Due to my choices, I have lost recess time. I need to focus right now on learning or I will have to call my parents or guardians." This is the first negative consequence. The student will now lose recess time. How much? It's up to your administration. In the past, I had them stay in my room for 4 minutes. Then I let them go in case they needed to eat. With my glass vase strategies for relationship building, a student getting a 3rd slip only happened about 5 times a year. At this point, almost all students adjust their behavior. Focus on Learning slip number 4. Again, this is for the same or a different inappropriate or off-task behavior. You set the slip politely and discreetly on the student's desk. Focus on Learning slip number 4 reads, "I must fill out a Focus on Learning form. I'm going to call my parents and guardians and I owe recess detention. I need to make better choices." So when they have a Focus on Learning slip number 4, they have to then go onto the computer, or you can print them out and have them handwrite after receiving 3. So these are the questions that they answer. So this is what the form asks them to fill out. After receiving 3 reminder slips, what I was doing that was preventing me from focusing on learning is, then the student has to explain everything that they were doing. The reason for my behavior is or are because, and then they like to plead their case so they can give whatever excuses they want on there. What I will do differently next time is, and then that's where they come up with a plan for how to behave appropriately in class. Number 4, my inappropriate or off-task behavior affects others because, and lastly, after submitting the form, I will see my teacher to prepare to call my parents or guardians. Then I will return to my desk and focus on learning, or else I will receive a 5th slip and have to go to the VP or the counselor. So when they call their parents, this is the script that they must read to their parents. After 3 redirections from my teacher, I failed to correct my inappropriate or off-task behavior that was preventing me from focusing on learning. Therefore, my learning and potentially the learning of others was compromised. Consequently, I was told to call you and reflect on the choices that I made in class. I am also solely responsible for making up any missed work and for doing today's assigned homework, and classwork. Due to my actions, I will also serve recess detention with my teacher. My learning and the learning of others is very important. I need to be prompt, be prepared, be polite, be positive, and be productive, and take full advantage of the learning opportunities which are provided for me on my pathway to learning. Therefore, I need to make better choices. For recess detention, after a 4th slip, I usually have the student rewrite the phone script, sign it, and date it. For the same or a different inappropriate or off-task behavior, again, now you're setting slip number 5 on the student's desk politely and discreetly. For Focus of Learning slip 5, thanks to my relationship building with my glass vase, I literally only handed out 2 of these in my 20 years in the classroom. So the 5th reminder slip, this reads, fill out Focus on Learning form number 2, explain further off-task behaviors, and call my parents or guardians, then receive a referral to go to the behavioral dean, counselor, or vice principal's office. I need to make better choices. And when they go online, the form that they now fill out asks the same questions that it did last time, but now it states, after receiving 4 warning slips, what I was doing that was preventing me from focusing on learning is, the reason for my behavior is, are, because again, they like to plead their case, and what I will do differently next time is. Then they follow up with, my inappropriate or off-task behavior affects others because, and lastly, after submitting the form, I will immediately focus on learning, or else I will receive a 5th slip and have to call my parents or guardians. So that is how the Focus on Learning slips work. But in addition to these slips, my other Focus on Learning tips are, it is more work to undo the damage, so try not to damage your relationships with students. If they are acting off or difficult, take them aside, say what you want them to believe without any frustration in your voice, and with a smile and a gentleness on your face. I usually say something like, I noticed that you seem to be having more difficulty focusing today. Is something going on that you want to share or that I can help you with? They usually open up to me or ask to see the counselor, in which case, after we talk, I tell them to go to the bathroom to take a minute to calm down and to return when they feel they can focus on learning. For an egregious moment, so now this is another thing, so for an egregious moment, if a student cusses or is looking for attention from the class or something like that, I do what I call buy think time. So I cup my chin and tap my pointer finger onto my chin, and really my mind is racing with, oh my gosh, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do, and all they can see is me tapping my chin and looking at them, and then I say, come see me later. That gives me time to think and not react. I also remember to not take anything personally. They are students, their frontal lobes are still developing, they don't mean what they say, They don't know what they're doing, and sometimes they're just having a bad day. I tell students, all students, that everyone has a bad day. And when someone is having a difficult time, I tell the students that under no circumstance can they react. They must ignore everything and keep working. I will handle the student with the same care and respect you would want me to handle it with you. So do not react to anything that is inappropriate or off task. No giggling, no high fives, smiles, etc. All that does is back the student into a corner. It's like yelling, fight, fight, fight. Your giggles and positive affirmations make the student unable to back down because now they're trying to save face. So your unintentional giggle that you did out of the kindness of your heart to show them that you have their back just caused a showdown and increased their negative behavior. So go mute and ignore everything so that I can gently get them back on track. Also remember, if you wouldn't say it in front of their parents or the principal, don't say it. And another thing, especially for new teachers, don't fear giving students the slip. I used to fear that I would upset them and then they would no longer be respectful toward me because I gave them a slip. Just the opposite happened. They would put the slips together or the slip and they would hand it to me at the end of class and they would say, "Sorry, Mrs. Fisher." And I'd be like, "Oh, no problem. Have a great day. I hope everything's okay." And so it was never a big deal. The slips are the best way to actually maintain your relationship with a student who's off task or inappropriate. And then again, like I stated in the beginning, you never ever explain why they got the slip. That opens the floor to arguing and explanations. So you set out in the very beginning with the understanding that when I hand you the slip, there's no questioning why I handed it to you. There's just reflecting on whatever you happen to be doing. Take stock of yourself and fix it. Again, here are the resources that I have for you, the FOL slips. You can cut them out and copy them at 118%. There's also, I created a Pearl City High School FOL plan that you can modify for your own use. There's also an online link to the FOL slips form, and I have created a glass vase book that is just in draft format if you want to read through that. There's a link there. And this presentation, there's the link, and again, the Google form when you get a slip 4 and slip 5, there's the form they fill out. Have a great day. Many thanks. And if you would please complete this survey so that I can get better at what it is that I do. Have a great day.